the information below relates to Oceano Traders for the financial year ending 28 Feb 2022. And the question says calculate the missing amounts in the tangible asset note. Okay, so here's the note. They give us additional information, and here's our answer book. We can start. The first missing amount is 3.1.1. So let's look. 3.1 is accumulated depreciation on vehicles at the beginning of the year. So this is the beginning, this is during the year, and this is the end of the year. Okay, how do we normally get this amount? So normally we say this minus this gives me that. This minus this gives me that. But now I have to do the opposite. I'm going to say this minus this will give me that. So I'm going to write that down. So on your answer book, you're going to say the cost price minus the carrying value will now give me the answer for accumulated depreciation. So that amount is 78,000 over there. Okay? So there we go, 78,000. I'm going to put in my missing amounts here. So this is 78,000. Okay, so that's in brackets. Okay, next 3.1.2 is additions at cost price. So let's see, did we buy any new vehicles? Let's go read our information. Here's vehicles. It says depreciation on vehicles is calculated at 10% per annum on the cost price method. Okay, that doesn't help us. And here it says a new vehicle was purchased on the 1st of September. But they don't tell us how much this vehicle costs. Okay, so let's look for another way to calculate that, eh? So normally, the cost price here plus this cost price will give me the cost price at the end. Okay, so vehicles at the beginning at cost price plus the new cost price will give me this one. So to get this middle one, I'm going to say this one minus that one will give me this middle one. So I'm going to write that down. So 380,000 minus the cost price there at the beginning will give me this middle value, and that is 150,000. And you can always go check your answer. Eh? So let's put that in. So this is 150,000. So this plus 150,000 will give me that. That works out nice. 3.1.3 is depreciation, eh? But this is only on vehicles. Okay, so we have to work out depreciation on vehicles. Now, we bought new vehicles, eh? So for depreciation, let me make this bigger. We are going to work out depreciation on old vehicles. So that's at the beginning of the year. And then we're going to work out depreciation on new vehicles. And we're going to add those two amounts, eh? So at the beginning of the year, we're doing vehicles on the cost price method, 10%. So I'm going to take the cost price at the beginning of the year. So take the cost price. And I'm going to multiply it with the percentage. So old, which means the beginning of the year, will never have months, eh? So we're not going to say times months. This is just going to give us an answer. The answer I get here is 23,000. Now I'm going to do new vehicles. That's the 150,000 that I got there. So I'm going to say 150,000. That's the cost price times the percentage times the number of months that I have this vehicle. So let me do a little timeline here for you. So we bought this vehicle on the 1st of September. So somewhere there is 1st of September. And the end of our financial year is 28 February 2022. So for a new vehicle, it's always from the day you buy it till the end of the financial year. So it includes September. So I'm going to write here, it's September, October. So the whole of September, the whole of October, the whole of November, December, January, and the whole of February, because this is the end of Feb. So how many months is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have the equipment for 6 months, eh? So times 6 over 12. So 6 over 12, there are 12 months in the year. And this answer is 7,500. Okay, so total depreciation on vehicles is therefore this one plus that one. So you add that together and I get my answer to be 30,500. And that's total depreciation on vehicle. Next missing amount is 3.1.4, and that is the cost price of equipment, and this is at the beginning of the year. So normally what we do is we say this big amount minus that amount gives me that. So this will be the big amount. So now I'm going to add these two together. So I'm going to say 290,000 plus 130,000 will give me the cost price. And that is a cost price of 420,000. Okay, so what you can also do is you can say, this is X. X minus this will give me that. You can write here X. So let me do it in a different color. X minus 130,000 will give me 290,000. So X is equal to 290,000. And then it's a minus, so when it goes over, it's a plus. 1,000. And this is 420,000. So that's just another way of doing that, eh? Okay, so let's put in that 420,000 there. So this is 420,000. Okay, next amount, we have to work out depreciation on equipment. So let's read. Depreciation on equipment, so we are here, is calculated at 15% per annum on the diminishing balance method. And there was no new equipment during the year. Okay, so if there's no new equipment, we are only doing old. So we are only doing old. So remember, old is this part over here. That's old. So diminishing balance method says cost price minus accumulated depreciation. That answer times the percentage. This is 15%. Yeah? And there is no months with old. So my cost price is 420,000 minus my 130,000 accumulated depreciation. First get the whole answer and then times 15%. Eh? That whole answer is this answer over here. That is 290. Eh? So if you didn't want to use this, you can just say 290. So you can just say, let me use another color, 290, because that is carrying value times 15 over 100. And the answer to both of these is 43,500. So I'm going to put in here 43,500. Okay, then the second last part is 3.1.6. There you have to work out carrying value for the end of the year. Okay, 3.1.6 is carrying value at the end of the year. So we're going to say carrying value at the end minus depreciation. Eh? So I'm going to say minus depreciation. So this was the depreciation there on equipment. And I get that answer to be 246,500. Okay, so this is now 246,500. And now for the last section here, 3.1.7, it's this cost price over here. So there's many ways to do cost price at the end. Eh? So that's cost price at the end of the year. So cost price at the end is the cost price at the beginning, which is 420,000, plus additions. So we bought nothing. So I get this answer to be 420,000. Or let's do it another way. So we can also say this minus this gives me this. Okay? So that means this plus this will give me that middle amount there. Let's try that one. Let's see if we get the same answer. So this is 246,500 plus 173,500. Let's see what that gives us. That also gives me 420,000. Okay, so you can use any method for cost price at the end, and that is for 2 marks over there. Okay, then we have theory questions here. It says Selby, the owner of Sizanani Traders, provides free delivery services to all customers who buy in bulk and stays within a distance of 8 kilometers. Okay, the sales figures were very low for the previous month, but the delivery expenses did not decrease. He suspects that delivery expenses are high because of private use of the business vehicle. Okay, 3.2.1. Explain how the business is affected by private use of its vehicles. Provide 2 points. So 2 points, eh? Point number 1. How is the business affected when the business vehicle is used for private use? You can say the vehicle will depreciate at a faster rate. At a faster rate. Okay, that's one thing. Number 2, the expenses of the business will increase because you are using the vehicle, which means you are using petrol or diesel. And also, the more you use a vehicle, the more we must repair the vehicle. So this is the effect this will have on the business. 3.2.2 says, provide control measures that should be implemented by the owner to avoid the mismanagement of movable or tangible assets. Okay, so internal control measures. So control measures. So control measures, 2 points. So number 1, you can sign in and out when you use the vehicle. So we know who is using it. So sign in or out when using the vehicle. And give a reason why. So vehicle, and give a reason why you are using the vehicle. So you can write that all out. So then we can see, is it for private use or is it for delivery? And then we can install a tracking system. So install a tracking device. So a tracking system to monitor the movement of the vehicle. So if you have a tracking device, the owner can look on his phone and just check where is the vehicle at any time. So that will be also for 4 marks. So 2 here, 2 there. You will get 2 and 2. And this was a total of 25 marks for the fixed asset or tangible asset and control question.